What's going on, everybody? This is Eberron, episode 42, the after show. Oh my God.
Never so much in my life I felt like I needed a smoke and a pancake after an episode.
A smoke and a pancake.
God. Tried to murder us with the ultra mega chicken.
Meant to be hard. The proving ground was meant to be hard. Coatl versus a much stronger Sarumanok. But you guys did well.
I will say though, I love the thought of like through the trials and tribulations that's gone on, like this connection you guys have and this Coatl, like with the like all of that combining together. I love the thought of like each time we surpass, or like you guys, because it's not me, but like you guys surpass these challenges, it continues to grow and strengthen the Coatl, your bond, your abilities and capabilities, and like it's just all that stuff. I just love that kind of story that's been like told and in like brewing, and like there's gonna be something cool happening with this Coatl after that, because I mean he's absorbing some of this stuff, so like I'm excited to see what else like comes from this. It's like it's just freaking cool.
Do you want to know what comes from this?
Yes.
Yeah.
While I drink from my Voodoo Ranger glass.
Coatl now has prismatic spray.
Oh! Let's go.
Yes.
It absorbs the god that it fights. And now, like, think of the Coatl. Now it has the plumage and the feathers off of it. So it's like a feathered raptor Coatl.
Yep.
Like the very, in the traditional sense, the very, like that what you would see in the South American Coatl with the feathered wings as it comes up.
Yep.
Now you have that plumage. You have
cool.
that ability.
Oh my God, that is so cool.
And
Freaking cool.
what is really, I don't know, poetic is I literally just drag and drop it over onto the Coatl, and you see it now. It has a 7th level prismatic tail. The prismatic tail feather is on there, and eventually I'll figure out how to add at will to where it's not even there.
Yes, 7th level prismatic tail. Holy
Oh my gosh.
Ooh,
Worth it.
little boys growing up.
100%.
Well, you guys, I mean, that's just like an extension of you guys, right? So it's like,
Well, it's an extension of us, but the Shimmering Glass tribe as a whole, right? Like it's
a tribal conquest. When you guys saw all the ancestors gather up at the end and watch in approval, this was tribe, underdog tribe versus tribe. Their spirit versus what's left, and the tribe of Shimmering Glass is now growing.
God, I love that. Fucking love that.
growing with the assistance of the fists, which I don't know how that like ties in, right? Like which one is older? Because we knew now that the Shimmering Glass tribe was much older, but where does that, was there a connection
is
before?
from a different world,
right?
Yeah, that's from like an Umber thing. I'm pretty sure that happened after we went and kicked the Nightmare's ass, right? Like, isn't that like when that happened?
I mean, the Fist of Delcar is Leightash and Oxy.
Right.
It is Leighash's dream realm, but it's also the balance, because you have to see there are quarry of both sides, and they've developed into the quarry that have helped the Kalashtar, and they're the quarry that have gone mad with power and influenced the Readerin. As it's written, they give a good versus evil kind of approach to it, and instead on this game there are Coatl on either, or they're not Coatl, but there are quarry on either side that drive them to the extreme.
Right.
Much like there are Kalashtar that are too far extreme in my game, that are too far extreme on the other end. that don't get it. Whereas
right.
the Redrin are the far extreme from them. So Leightash came from the moderate side of that quarry. You came from the opposite end. You balance each other. Leightash has tried to find what strength lies within the darkness, and you've had to find what strength lies in the light.
Well, and
from
that was
each
what
other.
I was ultimately getting at, right? Is like you have that now with this growing tribe of shimmering glass. So it's a whole new tribe than what anybody ever knew it was before, right? Because now it has this connection to this other realm that wasn't there before. I don't know what that pans out into, but that is a very cool amalgamation of things.
It's given your coatl the strength that it didn't have.
Right.
The strength to grow again.
Yes.
And as this grows, it'll be interesting to see how your tribe physically grows.
Right.
What does that mean? As you're the last survivors of it, and now you have multiple points. You have this coatl that's emerging, that's the last living, breathing part of this tribe. You also have Umber, the protector, of which is above. And I made sure when you wanted to play that card at the very end, I wanted to make sure I was like, you can rely on the strength of it. But this was specifically you being the Fist of Dalkar.
I thought about it after that was said, and what I like to think about is that while Leightash saw a red beam for one of his Eldritch Blasts, it in reality all it was light and dark beams. There was no red beam. It was Leightash's belief that there was the red beam that pushed it forward, and that is what I had in my head.
Or was there a red beam?
Exactly.
I love it. It's so good.
Ugh.
It's such a complex, like multi-layered, like thing, because then like what's really interesting to me is I am not a part of the tribe, right? Like I'm coming in new, and
Echo
this is
not
all
right,
new.
right.
Like
You've
Echo
just
is, right?
become a part of it now.
Right, like
This
it's
was
like,
your
oh, hey.
this was your fucking introduction.
but that's the thing, right? Is like, hey, we're gonna like story wise, we're gonna, we're paying you a lot to keep us secure and run this, but like, hey, we're gonna need you to do this thing, and I'm like, okay, I guess if you're gonna pay me enough, we're gonna do it. But then getting in there, it's like, what is going on? Like, so out of like, whereas for you guys, like, oh, this is normal. Like, this is a Tuesday evening, like this is fine. And that goes in here like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what is this? Like, he's so out of it, and like, so it's interesting to have that piece on top where it's like, okay, well, clearly I was there to fight, and I think in his mind, he sees it as I'm one, figuring all this stuff out, but two, he's looking at the strengths of all of you. He's evaluating for them in his own kind of way, right? Where he's like, what can these guys do? He's heard from Recoil and he trusts Recoil, but he's like, what can these guys do? And it's like kind of his perception of it, but then it's like this whole other thing where he's like, I have never experienced any of this shit. Like, so I don't know. It's just been a really interesting kind of like for me to kind of like weigh and play out and be like, how am I going to react to all of this? What's going to happen?
Hey, we told you about the consciousness, man.
Yeah.
It affects us all.
Well, and that's the other part of it is that you were kind of Echo was on his way to being more machine, right? That was kind of where it seemed like it was building towards. So now he's experienced this, which is much less machine, much more consciousness and awareness and the human aspect of things.
It's definitely a rattle back.
Which is so good because I mean, and there's things that haven't come up yet that I'm sure RoBear's grinning about, but it's such an interesting thing to be happening, and I'm sure there will be plenty of cool things coming up to explore that. But we're not going to go into it yet because spoilers, and you're gonna have to keep watching to see that shit unfold.
Yeah, there's going to be a large piece. This is going to this will shake Echo to the core, and there will be some character that's there for sure. There's going to be some character that happens on recoil too for losing one of his limbs as well inside this area.
Ugh.
Oh, that's right. He got half melted.
But remember, this is in a different realm, but it still takes effect that he lost. That was the mortality. And what happens to all of his friends that
really
he's known?
Interesting to think about.
So it's for him, it's going to be processing the friends that he's seen melted down and become parts or ammunition. And for him, it's going to be a callback to the war and pieces. But for the first time, he experienced those not as binary, not as pieces, ones or twos or zeros on a sheet. He experiences that as a person, as loss.
As an emotion.
As an emotion of those. And it's going to be kind of the first time where he's going to understand loss.
Right. In a so much more impactful way. Like, removing all the logic and the tactile aspect out of it. It's now just totally in your head. What does it mean to lose?
For me, it'll be a big RP piece. Absolutely. And it was fitting.
It was.
It was very fitting for the mechanical folk on the back that had weapons of destruction that couldn't get the last bit done. Is we were acting as practical as we could until the end, and what it took was dipping into the metaphysical.
Right.
To finish off this celestial battle, and you had to bring the darkness. And even then, it was still a mechanic that barely got you there by 1 point.
23 to 24. What ridiculous.
And it was the only one that scaled that went up. If you use necrotic, it was going to multiply.
Right.
So the first time it was going to do exact damage. The second time it would do double damage. It was going to keep going up because it had I had a plus 10. It was insane, but necrotic was the only thing that would make it roll with disadvantage on it. So it was kind of like a force multiplier, whereas force was going to be always you could break it up, but it was going to be difficult every time. Yeah. And shit, how many times did it take us using force to do it? And I role played along with it. Like I was like, this is what we do. Like
it's working.
Yeah, like
keep pushing forward on the thing that's working.
Brute force this square into the round hole, Yeah.
I mean, freaking Echo has he doesn't have much outside of what he does. And I think that goes to show the elements. Like he's like, put a human in front of me, put a freaking, Warforged in front of me, put a monster, like an enemy in front of me, like anything like that, a wild beast, I'll take care of it. I can handle that. Put whatever the fuck this is in front of me. And I'm like, I'm shooting, and I'm like, man, this is what am I doing here? I'm like, pew, 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 pew. It's like just barely doing anything. I'm like, I don't got much extra, and it's just, it was frustrating, but it was still fun because it's like, you see on one side, there's a lot of potential for a lot of damage. On the other side, it's like, man, I kept thinking man, Umber would have had so many cool things for this fight. So many good things. And I'm like,
Umber tears through this fight.
Yeah.
Umber finds out probably relatively quick, inflict wounds, any of that stuff, because you were the main person that could get them out of these fights before. And that's what I knew going in. I was like, this is going to be very interesting because Umber's the one, whenever they've needed necrotic energy, was the one that got them out before. But it's gonna take Oxy thinking back that he needs to use his past, or Leightash figuring out that he has to dip into the other side. And I was like, third round, I was like, I'm going to make wisdom saving throws on them, and I'm going to go through and see if they haven't done it yet.
20 out. Pulls a 20 out.
Hey, fitting.
So good.
Those 20s flew early on, and then the ones poured in. It was a roller coaster.
Andrew was balancing.
I'm excited because I know that as these other tribes exist, there are other tribal proving grounds, and they're not the same. They're all different based off of what the tribe puts its trust in.
To me, it's like a scaling effect, though, right? Because as you get more tribes, as you go through more trials, you have more people backing you each time.
It's your way to unify the tribes with being outsiders that have become part of their consciousness. The proving grounds are the only way. You have to seek that approval between their ancestors, and then you can do business.
But it scales, right? Those first couple of proves take a lot of effort, right? And then as you start to have more momentum, as you start to have more people behind you, in my mind, you come to the table with more chips, you know?
You have more tools, but you have no idea what they look like.
Right, exactly.
This would a battle between two celestials. Not all tribes worship celestials.
Yeah.
These in particular just happen to. So it got to be the great fight. It'll be interesting to see what else pops up long term down the road. For right now, this is the only one that was there. The blue dragons and whatever is going on over there looms in the distance. If there are lizard folk there at all, you don't even know. You've only seen dragonborn and dragons there. But either way, you will come back next week with the approval of the Twilight Pact and see eye to eye. It'll be fun to sort out going from there and what you do back at Flame Watch.
On a different note, I was so tickled that Oxy got to have a moment of what it feels like to just believe that you can do a thing, and being able to not successfully command duel, but what ultimately panned out to be a diversion for a nat 20 constriction from his coatl was that cements in his mind. That was a very pivotal moment of belief, of knowing what that kind of belief can do. And that that tickled me so much.
I loved it. I was just sitting there smiling as you were like describing it, and RoBear was describing it, and I'm like,
oh,
yep.
I wanted you to get it so bad.
You got that, dude.
Even the Leightash moment when it was like, you know, finding the balance between light and dark. I mean, that was also the other thing. Like, I was just sitting there smiling because that's all Umber talked about was there's not, you know, good or evil. There's the middle. There's the gray. There's the central like balance. And I was like, that was the big thing that he always like preached. And I was like, oh
Umber
my God.
was at the top of the pyramid.
Yeah, which
Light,
I loved. I loved
dark,
that.
Umber.
I love that. I love that whole thing that you described. I was like, man, that's fucking great. I was like, I'm here for it.
Hey man, I don't just put you in bread, dude.
What's this for?
Oh, I loved it, dude. Great RP within a battle that made it where you don't have an opponent that speaks to you. It was all about you talking to each other in the group, and you guys told a bomb ass fucking story within difficult combat. And that is a hard thing to do, especially when you're getting your dick kicked in on the second half.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think I didn't fail a single deck save the entire evening, and I was just like watching my health just slowly go down with every single one. I'm like, I'm passing all of these, but man, I'm just still taking. You know, here's the chunk, here's the chunk, here's
you
the
nat
chunk.
20 the god aura too at the very beginning. Like,
yeah.
The only person that could have got affected by it.
If that layer action didn't happen, I had my innate second wind. I was trying to get to my turn to pop that to hopefully survive one more round. But then the layer action happened and it brought me over by like 3 points. And I was like, no, I was so close.
Dude,
what did those auras do?
Those god auras?
Yeah.
Oh, they took away one part of your action.
Oh no.
Oh, rough.
Yeah, they made you choose between one swing or your bonus action.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, real rough.
God damn.
We did it. We got it.
You got through, dude. I had haste, and I still failed that many dexterity saving throws.
-1.
Hey, but you made all your con checks.
And the fact that you forgot that you could just pop back up.
That was good. It was made for
After
great
giving
banner.
me shit like, I know you're better than this, Echo. Oh shit, I could stand the whole time. God damn it.
The late model.
Yeah.
It's a good banner, man. I enjoy that. Great job, guys. Look forward to this next week. We push in. Y'all take care of yourselves. Much love.